So continuing on from our Mossberg 500 disassembly video, we're going to move into cleaning this firearm. So just a few supplies that you may want to pick up to do this is some cleaner. Now I like to use CLP, cleaner, lubricant, and preservative, because it has not only a cleaning agent in it, but it also lubricates the firearm. So you only have to buy one thing. I like to use a toothbrush. I have my wife save these for me. I just use old toothbrushes to clean this stuff up. And then of course a good brass rod. I prefer to use brass because it's not going to mar the steel. Okay. And then also a good brush that's going to be a little bit larger than the inside diameter of the barrel of the shotgun. Okay. And then I also like to use a large patch holder. And then of course, reach over here, we're going to have patches to swab out the barrel. Okay, so now we're going to start by cleaning this barrel. Now one thing I do want to mention is you can spend a lot of time cleaning these shotguns. You can really get down to each individual piece and scrub down to each nook and cranny and detail of it. But you know what? If you're just coming home from the field or the range, and if you clean it every time, it's not going to take you that long to do it. If you've let it go, yeah, it may take you, you could spend hours cleaning this thing. It just depends on how detailed oriented you are and how much work you want to put into it and what you want to get out of it. And so I'm going to show you how dirty this barrel is, just so you kind of get an idea of what this shotgun looks like. So to clean the barrel, we're going to take the CLP, and I'm actually going to put some paper towel down at the end to catch any overspray of liquid or anything that comes out the other end. So we'll just spray inside. And I also like to sometimes just spray the brush a little bit too. Okay. So take the brush, and we'll just go in and out of it. Oh yeah, a lot came out. This thing was pretty dirty. All the way out the end of the chamber. Okay. So really that's good enough. In a shotgun there's no rifling, so there's no grooves you have to get into. It's just complete smooth bore all the way down, so it's pretty easy to clean. So now that we've brushed it out, we're going to continue on and we're going to swab the barrel. Like I said, smooth bore, real easy to get everything out. So we're going to get the patch holder screwed on to the end of our rod. Okay. Since we have a large bore, we're going to need a couple patches. Okay. Pull them through, like so. Yeah, we've got some good stuff there. And what I do is I will just fold them back the other way and reuse them. And actually I'm going to add one more. I like it pretty tight, so just make sure and get everything swabbed out. Okay. And if these come out pretty clean, that will be good enough. Oh yeah, that's not too bad. We'll fold these through one last time, and that will be good. Okay, show you guys what the barrel looks like. So now that we've got the barrel cleaned, we're going to move on to the receiver. This is kind of one of the hardest parts to clean. That's why I like to get a toothbrush. I can get in there. We'll use the CLP. So I'll just start by spraying some in there. I like to kind of start in the grooves, any of the nooks and crannies. So once we've got all the cleaner in there, I just like to start scrubbing. And once again, just depending on how dirty it is, you could spend a lot of time doing this. So we'll get in there. Just go all along the edges. And what's good about the CLP is once we're done, we really don't have to worry about lubrication because it pretty much has all of it in it already. Okay, So we've knocked everything loose. I like to take a paper towel or a rag. Just start wiping it out. Alright. So, now that the receiver is fairly clean, we will move on to cleaning the trigger assembly. So on the trigger assembly, you don't necessarily have to disassemble this trigger assembly. You can clean it without disassembly. And normally, I would never disassemble this. You could, but we're not going to show that in this video. So normally what I would do is I would put my thumb over the hammer here, kind of hold it down, pull the trigger, and slowly let the hammer come up. Now you never want to let that hammer come up on its own force. You could damage this trigger assembly. So what I'll do is I'll just spray some of the COP in here a little bit. Doesn't take a whole lot. And then I'll just kind of brush to knock anything out of there. So keep in mind that when you are brushing this, and the hammer is not forward, that if you start brushing the trigger, that hammer is going to release. So that's why I always release it before I start cleaning it. And then I'll just take a paper towel or a rag and I'll wipe it down. So now that the trigger assembly is all clean, I'll just cock the hammer back in place and set it aside. Now we'll move on to the bolt. And to clean the bolt, I pretty much do the same thing. I'll spray it with COP a little bit. Move to the toothbrush. Scrub any debris, grit, grime, whatever you want to call it. So on the bolt, you could have some carbon buildup. So on the mutt that I have here, and what I like about it is one of the tools that it has is a brass scraper. Brass is softer than steel, so it's not going to mar the steel. So we'll just take that, any carbon that's around the bolt, especially if it's a hard deposit, sometimes that carbon will be hard, and you can just kind of scrape it out of there. Other than that, the bolt looks pretty good. Finish wiping it down, and we will move on to the bolt carrier. So same thing, we'll spray it down. Alright, start wiping it down. So we've got the bolt carrier cleaned. Set it to the side. We'll move to the elevator. Okay. Okay, now that our elevator's clean, we'll set it to the side. We'll move to our cartridge bars. We've already got plenty of COP on this toothbrush. These don't really get that bad. Okay, cartridge bars are clean. And this pen, we can just wipe it off. So now that we have all of our pieces clean, our shotgun's now ready to be reassembled. And join us on our next video in the series of the Mossberg 500 for reassembly.